Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinker's Academy video. I'm your host, Kay Elmer, and today is a very special video with Philip von Holzendorf from Leela Quantum Tech, where he's going to share with us the new products coming for Leila and the new frequencies in 2025. So today is or not Christmas, but New Year's Eve, 12/31, and so in a couple of days there'll be some really cool new things on the website available for purchase. So, Philip, how are you doing today? And thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Kay. I'm looking forward to this. I'm doing great. Even though I must say the last day of the year is crazy. So there's a lot going on. I'm looking forward to the new year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you had a very busy year. Every time I look at your Instagram, you're at some new conference, and I mean, how many miles do you log every year? Because you are so well traveled, and you're zipping back and forth between Europe and United States to do interviews and conferences and whatever, and then you've got the thing going on in Costa Rica. It's just I can't imagine how much you have to fly.
Yeah, it's indeed a lot, and especially it was now a lot in the last 3 weeks. So because I literally went um, a lot of miles within Florida, then I had to fly to Costa Rica, then to Las Vegas because there's a big event that I needed to attend and actually quite exciting. And then from Vegas, I flew to Germany, then from there to Switzerland, and I just got back 2 days ago. But it's okay. Thankfully, I don't have jet lag anymore, which is phenomenal. I literally I every year the older I got, the worse my jet lags would get, and now I don't have it anymore. I know how to deal with it, and that helps a lot.
So you're just wearing the Layla jacket while you're on the plane with the EMF beanie and just kind of protecting yourself that way? I mean, I'm sure everyone's interested in how you do that.
Yeah, so I certainly leveraged that. I leveraged the quantum upgrade and I put it on Heal 360
Oh,
because we
okay.
found that to be the best during the plane, also in regards to the benzene gas, in addition to the EMF
Yeah.
neutralization. That is definitely something I make sure that I change the time zones in a way that when I land, that instantly there also the quantum upgrade is in a new time zone, if that makes sense. So that
Okay.
helps
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch. And then I leverage the new sleep. I don't know, it's not a sleep and rest. That's what it used to be called, the calm and rest card,
Uh-huh.
and actually some physical supplementation, which I'm thinking about actually producing in a combined fashion with specific frequencies. That's 100% natural, no melatonin. It's a specific form of magnesium than pharma GABA, which is not
Uh-huh.
from the pharmaceutical industry. It's
Uh-huh.
actually the natural stuff,
Oh, okay.
and glycine amino acid, and
Oh,
that's it.
okay.
And then
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Hey, that's okay. So that's another new product. That's not on the list, but oh yeah, this is great. I mean, well, you're kind of like the poster boy of what you can do with quantum. I mean, just the fact that if for those of you who don't know, I mean, Philip became the number one national tennis champion for the United States in his age group in 2024. And this came from you not playing tennis for like what 15 years, and then a year and a half ago you decided to start playing tennis again, and now you're the number one in the country. Yeah, that's just
Almost.
pretty
So the
wild,
15,
man. I mean,
yeah,
seriously, that's a hell of an accomplishment
it's indeed
for an
wild.
old
But I
guy.
do need to say though that the 15 years of break, that started when I was 18. And so I did not play in college. I frequently get asked, where did you play in college? I said I didn't play at all because I took a break for 15 years. And if I look back to the last several years, there were indeed 2.5 years where I didn't play. And last year in September, October, I started playing again. So that was still a significant long break. And then I started playing tournaments again in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite rapid. I definitely I did not have that goal at all. I mean, I would have never thought I could make number one. I mean, certainly there's a little bit of course, let's see how far I can take it and what all these biohacking tools and the quantum tools can do. But honestly, I mean, I would have not bet on it. not not more than $10 probably.
Yeah, it's
And now
wild.
we're
I
there.
mean, yeah, I
Yep.
mean what you accomplished is wild. It's amazing. And of course, you've cured jet lag. So it's just I mean, the amazing stuff just keeps happening over and over. It's just great. I mean, it's great. So, hey, okay, so let's get with the video. So 2025 new products. So the very first one, if you want to go ahead and kind of share with everybody. Now, I kind of did my unboxing video and kind of shared the prototype that I got, but this is coming out, right? It's coming out January 2nd. Is that correct? So
Yes,
all of
January
this.
2nd.
Okay.
January 2nd is indeed the date, and
Okay.
there's a limited quantity that we will have at first, but I think it should be enough for most in the beginning. And it's the super block. Yeah, I think you have that one, and you got it in the square
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Still, that was the prototypes we had, and we experimented around with that, and actually found that this one really wanted to be in a round version. And then we tested that, and it turned out to be amazing. It's at 5,600 on the Hawkins scale, which is unheard of. It literally is. It's
Yeah.
so much. It's such a high vibration. The character of this block is truly a healer. That's what we found as well. So it instantly more than we had an infinity block at some point that also was characterized more as a healer type. No, this one is absolutely next level. It's literally it focuses on that very quickly as soon as you interact with it. Um, so that's really nice. It does have a specific feature in regards to deuterium depleted water. It's not easy to explain how that works, but on a frequency level, it pretty much removes the deuterium, or let's say the effects of deuterium in water. So it mimics basically a 10 ppm deuterium depleted water on an energetic level,
Wow.
which is also quite phenomenal. We were not able, and I want to mention this here also, we were not able to remove the deuterium on a molecular level.
Hmm.
So you would still have it there, but frequency and energy wise, it's still the same. We also don't have an answer for that at this point, why it's not removed on a molecular level. But it's almost as if those specific molecules are sort of inactive, right? Then at that point, or
Yeah.
don't have the vibration anymore that's detrimental. So that's really nice if you want to charge water. And certainly I leverage that if when I play tennis, for example, I have the charged water with me. What else is there to say? So not only is it round, it's in terms of the size, I think it's more or less 14 by 14 by 14 inches, but not square. Obviously, it's round, and it has only 3 rods, which is also new. We used to have 4 rods. Now it makes it really easy to put a big plate in there, for example,
Hmm.
put big water bottles or jugs in there. Your cats or dogs out there, they may have it even easier to get in and take a look at. Those are the main differences.
Oh, that's really, I mean, yeah, I'm totally digging mine. And I'm going to do a video, guys, because I've been sleeping in mine for a month.
Oh,
And the experience has been off the charts bizarre. So I'm going to do a separate video of what it's like to sleep in a grand block or super block. Um, but anyway, so that's
no,
another.
I'm curious.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Maybe
okay.
I need to interview you
Oh yeah,
next time.
it's just it's crazy. It's what's happened. Anyway, so some of part of it because I had to reach out for you for help. Okay, so the character now, can you describe what you mean by character? Because that's
Mhm.
not ever really come up before. Like we have all these different blocks, but none of them have been described as having a character, except for the original Infinity block when it got up to Generation 4. You had said one time that character of that Generation 4 was healer, but we never really kind of like what really delved delved into like what does that mean? Character
Hmm.
of a block.
Yeah, I mean that we're getting into a realm that is very difficult to understand and to explain with words frankly. So I think before I say something, please everyone out there, just take that in with your heart. When I say that the character of this super blog is a healer. If you take it in that way, I think you can maybe sense what it means.
Yeah, yeah.
Way better than understanding what I try to express now. Um, it's a high consciousness field, right?
Uh-huh.
And this high consciousness field it's sort of neutral in its in what it does, right? Because it's neutral, pure quantum energy, but it leans towards what it does always, these high consciousness fields that we work with and provide, they neutralize and harmonize everything that's destructive or harmful to life and to consciousness, and they support pretty much everything in regards to life and consciousness. That's what it always does. But then there are some nuances that we detected between the different blocks. Not not huge, right? It's not that they're then completely different blocks, but they lean towards supporting more this or supporting more that. And this one it's just as if it's nature to move everything towards quicker healing, if that makes sense, right? That's as if that's its main quality in this regard. So it operates quicker on that level. It detects these things quicker. It That's its main and first focus. That
Hmm.
it does all these other things too, right? Obviously it's sometimes hard with the brain to understand how such a field can do so many things at once, right? But it's certainly possible, and we may get into that today if we talk about some of the latest studies. But yeah, that's how I can explain it.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. It's really, really special that that this has a character. I intuitively understand because I'm experiencing it. So yeah, that's totally cool. So now the charging and copying times, all that stuff. Is that going to be in the box? You're going to update the card. So I'll update the quick reference guide with all that information when it comes out.
Yeah, so it
Because
will
people are going to
definitely be
want to
on the.
know, right?
Yeah, of course. No, it
Uh,
it will be on the website to my
okay.
knowledge, and we have prepared a booklet that also will go out with these blocks. I'm not sure, so I don't want to make promises if it that's already ready to go on the second. I'm not sure, the physical one, so it definitely will be available on the website. And so everyone will have the chance to look up the chart,
Okay.
what are the charging times, etc.
Yeah, because I was going to update the quick reference guide after this guide, after this block comes out, so that I have all the blocks and all the capsules. Okay, great. Okay, so speaking of capsules, the other new thing that's coming out is you've got four new products on the Leila Quantum side. You want to kind of just chat about that and what you're offering, starting with
Yes.
the woman's booster. Now you've created a petite, right?
Yeah. So, hey, don't you want to talk about that? Because that is actually your frequency. No, so if people remember, Kay created very early on
Right.
a women's booster frequency and a man's booster frequency. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the women's booster is specifically geared towards women over 30/40, and it supports in various aspects. And we've actually heard some phenomenal stories with this frequency, right? Especially
Yeah.
also, you know, uh, how do you call this now? So, regarding the period, for example, that the pains would be less, and it's just much more smoother process, more energy. We heard even in the how do you call that when well, I don't know how to explain it in English, but there's a phase that women enter as they get older, and then the period goes
Men-
away,
yeah,
and
menopause.
yeah, exactly, menopause, and so that is also a crazy time for hormones that just go up and down, and it's just a difficult time for many. We've heard a lot of great things. So that's the frequency. And what's new now is that we have this smaller version of it, which is not less powerful. It's important. Maybe it's slightly less powerful than the big version, but nowadays, if you compare the small version from today with the big version from like half a year ago,
Yeah.
the small version is actually more powerful, right? So there isn't anything less powerful. So don't think it's not powerful. It's very powerful. But for women specifically, it's nicer to wear, for most at least, and also for kids. It would be, now this frequency isn't for kids, but because it's smaller, it doesn't wear heavy on the neck. And that was the feedback we had gotten from women. They always asked, hey, could you make a capsule that's smaller? So that's now available for this one, like it is already for the Heal 360 as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just as a just real high level, the frequency set for the woman's booster was something I created after I created the men's one for myself. And so really what it was designed to do was like people that are, middle age, we struggle with, basically our immune systems and energy levels. And so I created something where it was five separate frequency sets that would combine together to be like one harmonious booster thing. So it helps with your brain function, it helps with your immune system, it helps with your stress. And of course, there's a hormonal aspect of it. So in the women's, it's for women. In the men's, it's for men. And then there's this anti-aging aspect of it as well, because as you get older, once you hit 30, 40, 50, your body really just starts slowing down and producing all these things that your body runs off of. And so you need all that anti-aging stuff. So that's really what the booster is all about, the men and the women's boosters. But it's cool that there's a petite one now. There's also new quantum charged items that are going to be on the site, right? So we finally now you've always had the men's underwear, but now I understand you've got a new woman's underwear, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and frankly, I need to really tell everyone. So to our knowledge, this is the first EMF protective women's underwear on the market
Huh?
worldwide.
Cool.
Maybe I'm incorrect, but we haven't seen anything anywhere, especially not in the US. And we know actually someone that had worked on this for 2 years and then she gave up. And she's actually excited. That's biohacking Brittany.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah.
wanted to launch these so-called EMFs, EMF underwear for
Oh,
women,
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
gave up because it's just difficult to do, right? Because you need to have the silver, but it still needs to be comfortable, can't be too thick, but it also cannot be thin, obviously, right? So I think we did a pretty good job in creating two different versions of that,
Uh-huh.
and so two different kinds. And not only is it naturally antimicrobial because of the high purity silver fabric, it also blocks over 99% of EMFs. And on top of that, it's charged not only with quantum energy, but also with the Heal 360
Oh, okay.
frequency. So it's literally called the Heal 360 women's underwear. And I find this super exciting. Women had asked also that they could have something, and now we're the first to offer it. So give it a try, everyone, and let us know what you think.
Cool. No, that's really cool. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
right.
and one more
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I need to
Uh-huh.
say that here also. So like with the jackets, that will, you know, the size is on the smaller side. So if you're usually a small, I would suggest you get a medium. And if you're usually a medium, get a large, and so on.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so now there's a new dog collar and new coasters as well.
Yes, that is correct. So the dog collars, that's actually they're not launching on the second already, but they will launch a little bit later. I think in the maybe mid-month. or the end of the month
Okay.
of January. And we will also have, now that we're announcing dog products, also um, a container that's specifically made for dog and cat food. It's a
Oh.
smaller container. If people buy bulk or large portions of dog or cat food, they like to put it in containers in between because of the airtightness and everything. And this container will be a quantum container, and it will also contain the positive frequencies for
Okay.
the animals. So that will come towards the end of January, I think. But indeed, the coasters are launching already now in the beginning of the year, and the coasters have an even nicer design.
Oh, okay.
They used to have the mandala that was closed. Now it's more open. Everyone that we've showed this to loves these new coasters, and they're also charged with the original heel frequency.
Oh, okay.
So that is obviously quite nice for every beverage you put on because it gets charged with all these important vitamins and minerals and the healing activation frequencies.
Okay, cool. So the dog collars are still going to be charged with the heel for dogs, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And will the pet food containers have a frequency in them?
Uh, I let's talk about it when we get there.
Sure, sure.
That I
Okay.
think that's better. Yep.
Okay, great. All right, so we've got some definitely new products coming along, and then let's talk about new frequencies. So right off the bat, I only know of two of them. So if there are more, let's chat. But let's right off the bat. There's the new Calm and Rest, which was the outcome of the frequency contest, the second one last year or this year. So is it now? So there's already a Calm and Rest frequency available, and now there's this new one. So are you going to name the new one Calm and Rest and have like a an original and a new, or how is that going to look on the website?
The old one will not be available anymore.
Okay,
So
so
only the new common rest frequency. Yeah, there's no point for us to keep two of those
okay,
because it's literally it was meant to be the update of that one, and
ah,
so now
okay,
we have the update. So that's literally what it's going to be. And to my knowledge, this one will be available also in the beginning of the year, so on January 2nd. However, the brain support frequency that will only be available on the quantum upgrade in the beginning of the year. And it will probably take us until, I would say, probably mid-end January to also have the brain support frequency uh, as a frequency card. We had to get the mandala created. The mandala actually looks awesome. I'm I'm amazed actually by how good it looks and how much it fits the frequency. But yeah, it'll take a little bit more time.
okay. Hey, can you kind of just share with us like like the new Calm and Rest, right? Like what was the Healers Network experience, with that frequency and in terms of like how much better it is or how different it is than the original one? And then, and just like what are people saying about it? Because no one's tried it yet except you guys. So
Yep. Yeah. So first of all, for the ones that don't know, this was a frequency contest, right? So everyone was able to submit their own frequency for this, and then we went through all of those and we selected two winners. You were one of those, and we figured that um, this just worked amazing together, and then Roman created there was a little bit of harmonizing needed to make it ideal, and this frequency is it's so difficult to explain. I think it's not as much as a hammer as the older one that we had, and with a hammer, I don't want to discount the current frequency because it is very effective. but it doesn't come with a hammer. It's more smooth, but it's very effective.
Okay.
And it helps you. I can't really say that publicly, but it helps me. It helps
Uh-huh.
me personally with falling back asleep and having a nicer sleep. I don't really have sleep problems though, I must say. I mean, I leverage it now when I have international travel to help mitigate jet lag and things like that. But it's very positive and smooth in that regard, and very powerful, and we like it definitely better than the old one.
Okay. And so I just want to clarify that, the frequency is to basically help sleep, people sleep as opposed to anxiety, panic attacks, things like that, right? I mean, you could kind of take the word calm and rest in different contexts. So this one's more to as a sleep aid versus a anxiety panic aid. Would that be correct? I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so I mean, for anything in regards to anxiety and so on, I would probably move towards the inner peace
Yeah.
frequency rather.
Okay.
Yeah, but this may still be a good combination, right? So that at nights you use this one, and then during the day use a little bit of the inner peace. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Okay, and then so you were telling me when we were chatting before the show about the remarkable results from the brain support frequency, and when you guys went to run it through studies. Um, do you want to share some of that?
Yes, I'm
Like
happy
what does
to.
what does this new frequency do? Is it for students or what?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, so
old
it
people, Alzheimer. Yeah, so that's it. What do
So
you
for
think?
everyone
Yeah.
that's listening, so this
Okay.
is this is the probably the most exciting stuff that I've witnessed in quite a long time. And I've seen a lot. I've seen all these amazing studies that, each time something like that happens, it blows my mind, even though I know it all works, with ATP production, the wound healing, the blood, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
But this one, we had never really done much with brainwaves, right? There were some first tests that were done that were positive, but nothing more than that. And so it's a new field, and you go into this as okay, so we know it works, and this is what should happen, but you have no idea really, right? Until it's finally tested. This went to an institute that works out of Switzerland and Germany, and they have the most advanced EEG device on the market. And I think, at minimum in Europe, we could not find anyone in the US that has a device like that. It costs about 140,000 US dollars and as has 256 channels. It's absolutely incredible. And so the way they test is that you come in, you get a before test with no electromagnetic fields. They have a room where there is no electromagnetic fields. Then you sit on this chair, like you can see here on the video. You get this helmet on. Also for the first test already, you get this little helmet on. Then you have this lady sitting in front of the computer who's actually reading the EEG, and you get a phone, an iPhone 15, placed next to your ear. And actually, this picture was taken when the phone was, it hadn't even started here, I think, because it was moved much closer. It was about, I would say, at most half an inch away from the ear. And then a 5G call would get started. And they didn't talk, but it was basically the a 5G connection call for 30 minutes. And then they would run this EEG for 30 minutes. Now, after that, we would place this person, and there were, I think 12 test persons, if I'm not mistaken. We placed them into the quantum upgrade, and then the whole thing started over, right? The phone would be placed there, and they would run a 30-minute EEG. and the results were incredible. All the different areas of the brain got activated. The negative effects onto the brain, which were rough, so rough. It's crazy. So this lady here, she's one of the top experts in Europe in regards to reading EEG. She has done this for decades, and there's no one that knows more about this than she does. Let's say it that way. And she said that in regards to the brain, what these 5G frequencies do and other EMF frequencies is they put your naturally occurring brain waves into an artificial box, and then they just you have these brain waves in a box. It's I mean, I don't want to speculate much about mind control, right? But it's something where it is all in a box. It's all in a freaking box. It's not natural anymore. So the brain waves change significantly, and and it's not good. And people also feel that. Now, the interesting part is that the quantum upgrade with the brain support frequency was able to neutralize these. And she could actually, as soon as the quantum upgrade came on, she saw it on the EEG. Like, well, she could literally also tell us. We knew energetically when it was starting, and she saw it on the EEG. A significant difference, right, in
Wow.
every
Yeah.
regard. And there was even one of the test persons there, an older man who had a brain stroke. Think you call it brain stroke in the US, and about 10 years ago. And since that day, he had always crazy disturbances and disturbant frequencies in his EEG. And he had run to all kinds of different doctors and people to figure out what could be done to remove that and to have this be normal again, and no one could figure it out. Now, the quantum upgrade normalized this within just a few minutes.
Wow.
And that was quite amazing. There were other things also that we picked up that would actually happen because the brain is such an integral part, obviously, of our physical existence, right? And if the brain waves suddenly work in optimal function, it has an impact on the whole body. And I can't say much more than that because I need to be a little bit careful in what I say and how I
Yeah.
say it. But I think you can read between the lines. There is stuff that goes way beyond the brain that is positively impacted and influenced by this. Now, I want to say that the study report isn't in our hands yet, so we will probably still need for another, yeah, maybe 3 weeks until we receive it. And then, of course, we'll share it. But we already know that it worked tremendously in every test person, not just in a few, in every single one. And it was literally, you turn it on, waited until, how it is, the up to 5 minutes, right? It takes 1 to 5 minutes until the quantum upgrade comes on.
Uh-huh.
And it was right there. It was right there, so visible and noticeable. Um, yeah. And it also they will actually have these pictures of the brain as well. That's what this device can do. They don't just measure, but they can also visualize the brain and what got activated and all of that. And yep, it's quite phenomenal. Now they were speechless. Before that, when they started before they started the study, they said, I mean, if that is possible, that would be a sensation, right? I don't know if that's the right word in English, but that's how they called it in German, because they said this would be incredible, right? And they still thought it wouldn't be possible. Huh. Very quickly, they
Yeah.
found out it definitely was possible.
Yeah, you can uh, basically affect a person's brain waves from a distance is not something that's traditionally accepted in modern science. That's really kind of like the world of magic, but you're like, yeah, we can do all this stuff from a distance while you're watching. Is pretty, that just probably blows people away all the time when you start doing these things. I can just
Yep.
imagine people freaking out, just like, because that's just absolutely not possible. in the way they understand physics. But yeah, this is so cool. So I'm just curious. How long do you know how long the effects last after you're no longer running the frequency? Like, does it last for a day? Then you got to turn it back on if you want it, But was anything like that looked at?
No, none of that was looked at, so we
Okay.
won't have any data in that regard. I think that's still something to be explored. And
Okay.
I don't think there will be a simple answer. It's the same thing with,
Yeah.
how long does charged water stay charged, right? It's the same answer. I think it depends.
Okay.
You have a positive effect, and that lasts
Yeah,
definitely
you're
for a while,
right.
and it kickstarts, certain positive processes in the body.
Mm,
But how long it really lasts depends on how you behave afterwards, what you do afterwards, and all of that. But it does have an effect that goes beyond just the session. I mean, we definitely know that.
yeah. Now you make a good point because people ask all the time about the water thing, and my response is that water's so easily overwritten because it stores memories that it all depends on what happens to the water after you're done. If you put it next to Wi-Fi router, it's immediately erased, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're mostly water, so but yeah, honestly, this frequency is sounds amazing. I just, as let everybody out there know, I Philip gave me access to it early. I did try it for a week. I have a incredible story about trying it. It'll be part of my what happened to me when I slept in the block story. But yeah, it is pretty wild, man. That was wild what happened to me when I turned that thing on.
I
So yeah,
bet.
definitely.
And I'm
Y'all.
happy actually. So if
Yeah.
people are interested in what I experienced, I mean, I'm happy to share right now if you want me
Oh
to.
yeah, please, because that's the whole point. I mean, for me, it's such a long story. I didn't want to shove it into this video. What happened to me sleeping in the Grand Block and also using the brain support frequency was pretty crazy story. But yeah, how about for you? I mean, how did it work out for you, or what did?
Yep. So, and by the way, I'm wearing these how do you call them? AirPods right now, and obviously those are pretty detrimental for the
Yeah.
brain and for the head, etc. I've charged them now with the brain support frequency because I mean, we really figured that this brain support frequency for the brain is so much more powerful than if you're just using the neutral quantum energy. And so that's just something to keep in mind for people. It really is powerful. If you have the quantum upgrade on, obviously with the brain support, you're all set, right? This stuff then can't impact you in a negative way. And the way I really feel it is when I turn it on, I become more aware. I literally notice how my whole brain and all parts of the brain are leveraged in a way it wasn't before. And I would argue that I probably already have a quite well functioning brain because I live super healthy and all of these things, right? And I have the energy. It's not that I'm starting being a very sick person, right? I'm starting already at a quite a good level, yet I see significant improvements. And and if I set it on a booster, for example, and I've tried the 3,400 booster a few times, it's literally as if I can process so much more information and it's multitasking suddenly on a super aware level. And it's not just the thinking aspect. So, for example, I think this would be amazing for chess players. I think every chess player would have a significant boost. If you do any type of thinking work or you need to calculate something or do whatever, I think there it helps you a lot. But it's also about perception in the room because it's not just the thinking part of the brain that's activated, it's all parts of the brain. So that you're calm, you're very aware, you notice the room around you in a very interesting and conscious way. You can interact with multiple people. If let's say you envision a room with multiple people, let's say you're at a party, right? And so there's multiple people that are talking. You're suddenly so much more alert with everything It's quite incredible. I don't know if people have watched the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper. That one comes to mind. You know, they that of course it's completely different. They have this pill there, and then if you take this pill, it suddenly activates 100% of the brain, and then this guy is able to learn Chinese in a couple days and learn to be an amazing piano player in a day and all these things, right? Of course, it doesn't do that, right? It doesn't go that far at all, but it goes towards that. The principle, I think, is the same, that you suddenly feel you're much more capable with everything you're doing. And I'm very curious on what other people report. So we've heard this from many people now, and now we kind of see it also literally in these brainwave studies. But I'm very curious what other people report, and I can't wait to see the video when you talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it definitely has a healing effect. That's for sure. That's what really happened to me. But I got to try it twice because I tried it while I was injured, and had really unique experience, and I'm gonna try it again. And then later this semester, I'm gonna be trying it on my daughter, boosting her at 3,400 and turning on brain support while she's taking exams.
Yes,
And just I just want to see because what I've been doing with her all the way up until now is whenever she's got exams, she's really lazy about her dashboard, so she just texts me and says, "I'm taking an exam at 10:30," so I'll set her booster for 10:30, and put her on focus, right? And then so, but now it's like I want to try, giving her the 3,400 booster and putting her on brain support, and I just wanted to, and see how that goes for a semester and get some, comparison feedback from her. So, yeah, she's my little guinea pig.
that's awesome. And I would suggest if she's open to that, when she has specific days where, she wants to study for a couple hours here now and then, for
Yeah,
example, leading up to the exam, especially in the week leading up to that,
yeah.
maybe she can leverage the brain support frequency already then
Oh,
while
yeah,
she's
definitely.
studying, and then, yeah, crank it up all the way for the exam. I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're gonna be testing on the kid, but yeah, no, this is really cool. So this is available January 2nd on Quantum Upgrade. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be part of the Heal bundle, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, and then also the all-in-one frequency bundle, and at no extra charge, right?
Okay,
So,
and then it'll be available on a card weeks later, right? Once you get the product ready to go.
yep, I would
Okay.
guess about 2, 3 weeks later.
Okay, great. So now still on topic on the 2025 new products. There's three other things that we had chatted about in the last new product video, which was eye drops, the quantum diagnostics service, and a master class. And I thought I'd just throw it on the screen for you to give an update, just to let people know who are interested and had been asking about these.
Yeah,
Do you have a
so
status on them? Yeah, yeah.
yes,
But
definitely. So the quantum eye drops, I don't have an exact status, but my guess is that either in March or April we'll be able to launch it. So we've made some progress there. And the issue there isn't really the product itself. The product is ready to go. I mean, certainly it would need to be produced in mass, but that's not really the big issue. The bigger issue is the yeah, how we sell it, and we talked about that before. So, but we're working on this, and it's definitely going to happen. And then the quantum masterclass, it's probably the certified quantum energy practitioner. Um, and that's a course, and that one is ready. It is ready, and
oh,
it's pretty
okay.
much ready to go. We just didn't want to overwhelm people, and also not ourselves by launching everything at once right now. So this will launch in January. So
Okay.
you can rest assured in January this will launch, but rather towards the second half of January, and it's going to be quite exciting. Pretty certain at this point that there will be a significant discount for everyone in the first 72 hours of this course. So you can become a certified quantum practitioner or quantum energy practitioner, and it's a whole course you go through, and then you will be able to not only help yourself better, but you'll also be able to help others better. And we will also, uh, we're working on this, have a section on the website where if you want to, you can be listed basically as a certified practitioner, and then people could find you if they wanted to, and yeah, um, get help
That
from you.
sounds really cool. I mean, how many hours of coursework is there to complete? Do you know?
Ooh, I mean, it's quite a lot because there's homework too, but it
Oh,
really depends. I think there's people that are more advanced in their knowledge and expertise already. They can go through this quite fast. And then for the ones that, really want to take their time to also do the specific meditations, there's for every chakra, for example, I personally recorded specific chakra meditations. You can take more time. So it's a little bit of a time span. It's not, it's exactly 50 hours or exactly 100 hours. It
okay.
depends on the individual, and that's how we wanted to do it as well, because everyone has a different type of knowledge and expertise already, and
Right.
some may want to do this super quick, and some want to really take their time.
Okay. Oh, cool. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Okay, so that's the eye drops and the energy healer master class, and then the diagnosis. The last time we chatted, you were thinking end of 2025, or is that about still on track to have that service ready?
So now with this one, you need to uh, remind me what this was about,
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm
You
blank on that one.
Okay, you had mentioned earlier in the year that you guys were tinkering around with creating
Oh,
a side,
yes,
service with Quantum Upgrade that could do diagnostics, like basically
yes,
energetically determine what kinds of issues you may have, right? So that you can then focus different frequencies on, so you know what's basically
yes,
things you need to work on.
yeah,
And then that this would be a diagnostic, something similar to several of the different software systems out there right now that do diagnostics versus on voice prints, but you would be
yes,
doing diagnostics off of energy prints,
yes,
quantum.
100%. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I was just confused because it was written under the Leela quantum product, and I was like, okay, so what is it that we're planning there? And we're not, because this is a quantum upgrade
Okay.
feature,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, we're not far in with the actual diagnostics part of it, but I don't consider that the most difficult anyway. The most difficult for us is to actually find the frequency that is then individually geared towards the individual that takes the test in order to optimize everything for them specifically in that moment fast. And that is what we've been working on, and we've made great headway with that. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, given that, maybe by the end of the year, we'll be able to have this ready.
Okay.
It's a long development
Oh, yeah. I mean, from
process,
what you
also
just said. Oh, yeah.
technically, and getting the diagnostics right and all of that. It's a big technological task. But again, the energetically, the most difficult is what we started with first, and that
Right.
is where we're already extremely far. I've been a guinea pig, by the way, one of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Based on
If
what you
if there
just
are
said,
other
I could
guinea
see why
pigs out
it's,
there, let
yeah.
us know.
Hey, just me. Anytime you need me, just throw me on the list. But no, that sounds really cool. Basically, I didn't realize you were working on frequencies to go with the diagnoses. So that's pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
mean, the
Okay.
idea is really so that you can get tested, and let's say you have, I don't know, you have metabolic issues and these issues and all of that, that not only do you get tested, but then you can actually get this specific freaking whatever you need in that moment
Yeah.
to heal. as fast as possible, right? That you would get that. And then this would run for a week or two, and then, it would constantly optimize again, and then you could do a retest and so on. So that's basically the idea.
You know, you are so far ahead of your time because you know what you've just described? A quantum medbed. Because that's the whole vision, you know, of the future med bed, right? That you just lay in a thing and it says, "Hey, this is what's your problems, and here you go," you know, and then zap you with whatever you need to kind of cure or address that issue. And yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Yeah, it's really wild what you're building, and I know it's probably going to work because every time you crank out something, it's just amazing. Okay, I'm really looking forward to that one because I want to, once that comes out, you know what I want to test more than anything I've been wanting to test forever is the ability to replace supplements, physical, with frequency, right, of the
Hmm.
supplements. And I don't have a tool that can tell me how I'm doing. So yeah, but there's one person I know that did that using a different tool, to keep up, keep checking how they're progressing without
Yep.
physical supplements and then using frequency instead. So I definitely I need a really good tool to track how that works out. But because
I
if we
think I
could
have a
crack that
solution
nut.
for that also, by the
Oh,
way.
okay. How do you crack that nut? Because that's like one of the biggest
Hmm.
questions we get, right? People ask like, "Oh, now that I've got the neutral bio base, do I need to take supplements anymore?" And
Yeah.
I'm always going, "Yeah, you still need to take it because you're still a 3D meat bag. You know, we're all
Yep.
still walking around with meat sacks." So, but there are people who can survive off frequency,
Yes,
and
that
that's
is
because
absolutely true. And
they've
more
elevated
will do
their
that.
energy. They've elevated their consciousness to the point of them being energy beings. So, how do you crack that nut?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. There are some that can do that, and I think that number will increase. Um, but for everyone else, we figured out a way where you can combine the pure energetic um, with something physical. I don't want to really say too much, but there's a delivery mechanism. Just imagine you could let's take the original heal frequency, right? That contains, almost 80 different vitamins and minerals and organic plant extract. Let's take
Mhm.
that one, right? So now you have that just as a frequency card or just in the quantum upgrade. It works well, but it's maybe the efficacy level is, I don't know, maybe between 45 and 85%, right? That's what I'm kind of guessing. If you then could take a drop of water that also contained this frequency, suddenly that moves up the ladder on the percentage scale quite significantly. For whatever reason, we've tested this, it does work better. Now, just water wouldn't work though, because water doesn't hold a frequency long enough. So if we gave you, let's say, just, I don't know, a water bottle with this frequency, the frequency would be out of the water after some time, right? So now we have a special water now that can actually hold this energy pretty
Oh,
much for years and years,
wow.
and combine that with the actual frequency, and then you're pretty much right there where you described where you want to be. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, there you okay. Because I actually do water imprinting. I created my own neutral biobase.
Yep.
Um, and combined with the anti-aging stuff. And so every pitcher of water, I run it through my RSO filter, fill up a pitcher, put it in my grand block with my frequencies for vitamins, minerals, and anti-aging supplements, and I charge the water and imprint the water, and then it goes
Hmm.
in the fridge, right? And then I'll drink it like within a day. But it's just regular RSO water. Is there something you could do to the water before I try to imprint it? Is that what you're saying? Or is that like
Yes.
a product you're going to start selling, which is we're going to sell special quantum water or something like that?
So think of salt.
Uh-huh.
So
Salt.
now
Okay.
you may have the answer. You could
Yeah, I got
use
it.
you could use a hypertonic, seawater that's nanofiltered, for example,
Yeah.
because salt. holds that information pretty much forever.
Oh, okay.
You could go with saline solution,
Okay.
things like that.
So,
Yeah, it's
okay.
actually fairly simple. I mean, there's
Okay.
other ways too.
I get it.
You know how the globalies, I don't know how you call them, the homeopathic medicine, they come in these tiny little pills, right?
Yeah.
And so that would be also another way to do it. But in terms of drops, that's what I would do. I would go with
Okay.
nanofiltered seawater.
Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. So you need something in the water to imprint on. Okay. Because I've been imprinting on pretty much pure water. RSO does have some little bit of minerals. It's not as clean as distilled water, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, so we're going off on a tangent, guys, for you tinkers out there. That's how you can get off. You can tinker with replacing supplements with frequency of supplements. Wow. Okay, so that'll be a whole new thing that we're going to try here. So in the future. All right, man. Okay, so great. That wraps up. Is there anything else coming up in 2025 that I didn't get on the list?
I think this is pretty much it.
Thank you very much for your time today, Philip. I'm going to get this out right away. Get people excited about the 2025. Whoops, forgot to update this one. 2025 product updates. Also, what's coming out new for the studies, as well as some Q&A stuff. So, but again, thank you so much, Philip, for your time today. I really appreciate it. Now, of course, everybody knows where to get a hold of Philip. You know where to get a hold of me if you've seen any one of my dozens of videos. So we'll just skip all that part and just say thanks and really appreciate your time and your insights, Philip. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to say a thank you to you, Kay, for all this amazing work and what you're contributing to this space. It can't be acknowledged enough. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The ideas you have, the value that you create for all these people that, for example, you're breaking down studies in a way that it's understandable and digestible for the everyday person that's not usually trained in reading studies and science, and they may not, even have the time to do that. All of this is just phenomenal. So I'm so grateful for everything, also for being so active in the community. And a big apology. Oops, I think I lost my um, ear stick here. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yep.
I want to apologize to everyone in the communities, by the way, also that in 2024 I really haven't been as active in the communities as I had wanted. It's just been so much, with everything going on. I separated from my wife crew, which not many people know. That happened in February. We're still great friends, by the way. We still show up at conferences together and all of that. So, it couldn't be better on that level, but it was still a difficult time. On top of that, all the work, all the travel, and then also the tennis on top of it, and having a dog that I need to take care of all the time. It's been impossible to do that. And also for the TraumEZ community, for example, I had wanted to actually, set up these more or less regular webinars where we can talk about that and maybe do some trauma work together, and all of that I still want to do. It just was not possible in 2024. And let's see that we can get something started at least in this new year. But it's not that I don't want to, it's just been so much. And hopefully, at least people see that everything is moving forward and we keep developing new stuff. And that for me is still always the most important, that we, do the research and all of that, and have great products and develop everything and take it to the next level. And everything else comes after that. But yeah. That's what I wanted to say, at least. It's not that I want to stay away from the groups at all.
No, honestly, I feel comfortable speaking for the group to say, hey, no worries, man. And, you had, like so many others, had a tough year. But you're really moving the dial. What you are doing is changing the world, honestly. I mean, it's a big statement, but think about it. I mean, you know, the fact that you are funding studies that proves that non-Einsteinian physics exists, quantum energy, life force energy is part of our reality, and all of the things you could do with it, and providing people with tools to help them, and also be able to help themselves, and help the people around them. I mean, yeah, to me, it's amazing. So. But yeah, thank you so much, and it'll be great to have you if you have time in 2025. Spend a little bit more time in the groups if you have a chance. That's great. But I think everyone would just feel like supportive of you and just say thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for paying out of your pocket for all of these studies that we all can learn and become better together. And that one thing you do about every product sale, man, you're still planting trees, right? I think that's something people forget about. But every time anyone buys anything, Philip hires someone to go plant a tree. So you've got this whole thing going on the side that nobody ever talks about. But I just think it's awesome how many trees Leila Q has planted by now. But
Yep,
anyway,
that
so
is true.
yeah. So
I
hey,
almost
happy New
forgot about
Year. Yeah,
that.
it's New Year's Eve. So happy New Year. This video will come out, so you all know what's going to happen on the second. I'll get that out as quick as possible, and I just want to say thanks a lot. And if you don't mind, can you just hang on while I'm going to stop the recording, but hold on for a sec before you leave.
Absolutely. Thank you and happy new year to you and to everyone out there in the
All right.
communities.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Happy New Year, everyone. Aloha.